Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tank Bangers, episode 26 already. I promised you yesterday that I was going to show you how to handle a gas tank spout like this that was smashed down. You see it a lot of times. How it happens, I'm not really sure. It could be years of gas cans. You know, somebody dumps a can in there with a spout on it, heavy can, 5 gallon, smashes it down. They take a lot of abuse, these aluminum tanks. And eventually they get flattened out. Now I've got a really beautiful example of one right here in the vise. All right. And I'll give you a little bit of it's pretty rough, huh? Somebody actually sent me this tank to fix and I sent them another one in return. Told them it couldn't be fixed. Anyway, it's a good tank for an example such as this. So I'll be showing you about that in just a second. In the meantime, I should mention that today's show is brought to you by Motion Pro. Be sure to visit them online at motionpro.com. And if you remember upon checkout to use the code MP9135, that's MP9135, you get a 20% discount across the board on everything from Motion Pro except custom-made cables. I need to get over here, and I don't know whether I should show you. I'm going to show you something from this angle first. And then I'll show you over on the, somebody sent me a slap hammer like this to take dents out. They gave it to me for a different reason completely. And obviously, you bang on that end, this end goes into the dent on the car or the fender or whatever it is you're using. Well, I thought it might be a good idea if I took an old Elsinore gas cap like that, drilled a hole in it, and now it screws on to the tank. Could you do this to lift the dent up in there? Yeah, you could. It's a little extreme and it sometimes does the job too well. It does pull it up evenly across the hole, but it can be a bit much. It's good on a bike. If you had something and the tank was mounted to the bike and you wanted to try that, that would be okay. If, you know, in a vise, I guess it would be okay. But it's a bit much, you know. It's just a bit much. It does work, but you're not going to have one of these and you're not going to need one of these. So don't forget to comment where you're watching from. Let us know what else you might want to see on the show. And yesterday you asked for, how do you fix a spout? Or am I concerned with, when I reach in through that gas spout, am I concerned with bending this? Yeah, sure I am. I know about how much pressure to put on it. I know how much pressure it could take. I know when to heat up the side of a tank if I'm going through there, so I don't put too much pressure on that spout. And sometimes it just happens and I go back there and I fix it. I mean, I'd rather fix this if I can get a dent. Well, this isn't a very good example, but if I can get a dent out over here, through here, and this gets bent a little bit and I have to straighten it, I'd rather do that than drill a hole in the tank. Better for the tank, better for me, better for the customer. Not good for Daryl Dickerson because he doesn't make any money welding. Okay. Anybody watching? Anybody at all? Looks like a couple of people there. I just don't know where you're watching from. Probably Facebook. Okay. Probably YouTube. All right, let's get on with this. And then we're going to put another tank in the vise, and I'm going to get to work on that. Okay. So I showed you this guy and how it would be a bit much to get that spout up again. It does work, but you're not going to have one of those, and you're probably not going to go make one of those just for this occasion. So I'm going to show you how you can make this work for yourself with 2 screwdrivers like this. Now, this thing is down quite a bit. It's down because there's this giant hole here, a dent. And you see how, just pointing something out while we're here. See how there's all grind marks across there? All over that dent? That's because somebody made those marks so the body filler would stick and they filled it all in. And they did that around the whole tank and then they painted it. Anyway, inside that tank, there's the tunnel, right? So you can, hang on. Can't work on a tank that's moving, right? And this thing was about to start jumping around. Okay, now it's bent that way. You're going to get down on the tunnel, and you can pry it. You can pry it up. Then you say to me, Joe, well, this side is still low. Well, that's true. It is. So then what you're going to do is you're going to wedge that screwdriver on that tunnel again where you just had it. Put this one on this side. And this side's going to come up while this screwdriver is holding that side up level. You put it in on a little bit of an angle like this, give yourself room on this side, and you can pull this side up too. And that's one way of doing that. Doesn't really do any damage to the spout. And that's how you can get that back up again, okay? Or you could build yourself one of these. All right, I'm going to change out this tank. We're going to put in another one. And then we'll get to work on that. And that's how I hold that. Can you see that? That's the bolt I put in there with a little spacer and a washer. And I put the nut. I put the nut in the vise. Okay. All right, I was going to do something on a different tank. I think I'm going to try it on this one instead. This is the tank we were working on yesterday. And I've got some marks here on the back. Let me make sure you could see them first. Right here. Hang on. I'll get you a better shot of it. Right here. See all this? It's a real pain in the neck. One of the biggest pains on fixing a gas tank. On fixing these Elsinore tanks, because it's right on the edge up here. So I can't really drill a hole. I mean, I have a hole, an access hole in the back here, which helped me down the side. But it's very difficult to get to here. But we're going to give it a shot. Well, that's good for you to see, but it's not good for me to work. So hang on. think I want it any lower than that. Put this in here so I don't do any damage on the other side of the tank that's already repaired. And we'll get our ratchet strap in there. Make sure everything is secure. It's a pretty good angle for you guys. I don't know if this helps. I don't think that makes it any closer when you're watching it. No, I don't think it does. It makes it, it's really clear on this camera, on this camera that I'm showing this to you, but it doesn't make it any closer to here. Either way, we got to get to it. And I have an access hole on the back of this tank right here already. That's how we got the side all nice and straight. Now that gives it a little natural light, might make it a little better for us. That's too much. That's about right. Oh yeah, you can see it a little better there. Got a couple of comments. You might as well check those out while I'm here. Ed Waterstadt, Joe, great show. My TT600 Yamaha Vin Gal Racing Biggest. Not sure what that exactly means, Ed, but great show. My TT600 Yamaha. Good morning, watching from Fortuna. Hey, Tim Christie, Tim Whitehouse. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this morning. And these are not the shoes I like to wear when I work on tanks, but we've already begun, so I'm just going to have to keep them on. We're going to have to get a tool in here, something to start raising these dents. Something I'd like to do before we begin is show you exactly, maybe give you a little bit of a better view of what the dents are, what they look like. I know you could see them through the camera, and I didn't mean to say what they look like, but if I do this, you get a better idea, and so do I, about how deep it is, how deep the dent is. Yeah, looks pretty good. Now we know where it is. Now, what do I get in here with to get the dent out? Well, I think I've got something that's going to help me with these three, and then we'll worry about these as we go. But right now, where are you? There you are. Right now, I got this guy. I might have to heat this up. I don't know. Just going to try some prying on it first to see. No, I don't. Unless I can get a longer tool in there with a little more leverage, then I wouldn't have to heat it up. I could try that. This guy. This is not going to be so good, I don't think, because it's not really giving me the angle. Well, that's a little better. All right. I'm going to move. My ratchet strap to the other side so it pulls this way a little bit and down, because when I'm pulling this way, it's pulling it away, and I think that's going to be better for everybody involved. Okay. Still got a good shot there? Yeah. Okay. Now let's see where we are. Now, see how this is straight? With this, I could turn it and get a little bit of an angle. And all sometimes you need is a 1/16 of an inch, an 1/8 of an inch, just a little bit of an angle in order to hit right where you want. This is just too straight, and it's not giving me the ability to get down on that dent down there. It's just giving me the ability to get this one right here, which is important, but I still got to get this guy and these. So I'm going to go back to this, try it again. See where the magnet is now, how it's on the dent, right in the hole there. Well, it's good and it's bad. I've got the accuracy, but I don't have the leverage. The long one, I had the leverage with the long rod, but I didn't have the accuracy. Okay. We'll go into the heat. A little map gas on here. Nothing fancy, nothing special. Buy it at your Home Depot or Ace Hardware, anything like that. I'm nearly out. I hope I don't run out during this segment. That would be somewhat embarrassing. Anyhow, let's put this over here. Make sure you don't have anything flammable around where you're working. It doesn't throw sparks, but a spark is always possible where there's fire. So I'm going to put this tool back in here again, and I'm going to make sure I know exactly where it is, because I'm not going to be able to move it, or I'm not going to be able to put the magnet back on there while it's hot. You want to heat up around the dent too. You don't want the cool aluminum or cold steel drawing the heat away from your area. All right, we've got that one. I might as well see if I can get this one while I'm here. I think I can. I don't know about back here though. Can I get these guys? No. The bend isn't sharp enough on this when I get it in this hole to get those three pieces back there. I'm going to have to use something with a sharper curve, maybe something like that at some point, but one thing at a time. Compressed air helps in situations like this. If you have a compressor and you don't mind hearing it run. I personally can't stand the sound of a compressor. Anyway. So I just use a little cool water. Don't forget today at noon, you got Next Time Try This coming up on Vintage Motocross Q&A. Got some other stuff that I posted too. Some restored bikes will be popping up. We've got an interview. Today's Tuesday. I think we got the Scott Hybrink interview today at 4 or 5. And just a lot of other little videos throughout the day. Every day at Vintage Motocross Q&A. Okay. Now, as it was to be expected, when you get in there with a tool like that, you might have a high spot, and I do, and it's okay because there was a nick right on it. This looks like a low spot. I think I'm going to be able to get back in there right now without heating it up. Maybe get a little movement out of that. Got Vintage Motocross Q&A coming up tomorrow night. Got a nice 76 or 77 Honda CR125 that was sent in. Beautifully restored bike. Got some other cool stuff too. Jeff Kokoski's got a continuation of last week's segment. We were talking about the Royal Enfield, the longest brand continuously manufacturing motorcycles. It's over 100 years. They never stopped. BSA was up there. Triumph was up there, but they stopped at one point and then came back. Royal Enfield never stopped manufacturing bikes after they started. We've got the follow-up on that tomorrow night on Vintage Motocross Q&A. Along with our other segments of Next Time Try This. Did you know? What's it worth? Giving away posters, mag lights, stickers. You know, it always gets to this point of the show where I am always thinking about, why didn't I take a picture of the damage before I started, put it on the screen, so I could show you at the end when the damage is gone, like a before and after. Yeah, I know you guys are here and you're seeing it before your eyes, but all right. I shaped it with a little 80. Now I'm going to use some 180 for a little more shaping. I'm sure I'll have to get back in there again. A little low here, a little low here. The question always is, do you have less damage than when you started? Yes, I do. A little housekeeping along the way. Keep things nice and tidy. Low spot here. We still got these guys back here, but those I know about. This is the one I'm a little more concerned about. Yeah, you can see it pretty good there. Right there. All right. Brian Webley, Wendell Simons, thanks for joining me this morning. See it there? And we've got our the two nicks we started off with much earlier. I know they're there. I'll get to them. Wanted to take care of the big ugly first before I get down to these guys. There's even a little one right here. One right here. Let's get back to that. I'm looking at it on an angle from here. The fluorescent light is hitting it. I'm looking at it this way. I can see everything that's moving here. I don't know if you can, but I can. You'll be able to see this though. See those high spots right there? Should be able to see them from prying. Okay. Okay, here's a pop quiz. How do you hold paper in your hand when you're doing sanding like that? That's right, Tim Whitehouse, in the palm of your hand flat. All right. Definitely smaller. Got a little spot right here. I don't often talk about sanding as far as the direction I go. You know, hopefully you're taking some of that in. You'll see me go crisscross on a bend like this. Yeah, I can go around too. But the contour of my hand and the paper in it with this, it just feels like I'm hitting more of the surface at the right angle. You know, on flat stuff, yeah. You can go in circles. I mean, you can go anywhere you want. That's going to help get the surface as smooth as possible. All right. Now, got these guys back here. Boy, I could see them really nice through this camera. I don't know how that works out. Looks pretty good angle right there. Mark Northrup, Don Zabalski Sr., thanks for joining us today. As always, Brian Webley, Wendell Simons. TV, Joe, do you have a trade-in program? If so, what would the fee be for this? I did have that years ago where I would finish a tank and a person would want me to fix a tank for them, and as opposed to them waiting 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, they give me some money and their old tank, and they would have a new one. It just, I'm so busy doing tanks every day. I don't have much time to backlog things like that. So no, not at this time. I do, and if I do occasionally have one, I usually put it up for sale, or I'll say, I'll take a trade in on your tank too. How much do I give for a tank that's in bad shape? Not more than 100, 150. That's it. Because I have to do the same work on that tank that I'm taking in as I have to do on somebody else's tank. It's the same difference. The best thing, or the biggest part of it, is the convenience to the customer. He gets what he wants right away. I make money right away, which is nice. But it's the same amount of labor. It's the same amount of work for me in the end. You can use the marker to act as a guide code. Yeah, I could. Thank you. All right. All right, as I mentioned earlier, this doesn't quite have the bend I need to get over to here, here, and here. So I'm gonna have to go with something that's got a little bit of a sharper bend. I'm not so sure what I bent this up to do one day. I think it was to get inside of the petcock area and then turn it and then go this way and twist it. Whatever I did, it worked, and I kept it around. And occasionally, it still serves a really good purpose. I think in a situation like this, it is going to work pretty well. Let's see where I am. Maybe. Got that one? And I got that one. Might have to go back. Might have to go over them again. But right now, they're certainly better than they were. Yes, that is how I clean files. With a brass wheel. It does a dandy job. All right, it's feeling pretty good. I got a little something going on right here. I'm not sure what it is yet. Let's put it to the test. I'm expecting to see something there. It's not going to surprise me when it comes up. But the nicks are gone. The big dents are gone. I probably just have some. I don't know if this is a high spot. It feels like a high spot right here. We're going to find out right now. And the test is going to be, we're going to put a little 320. Just about the length of where that area I was working on. Lay it across this long board. Got a spot right there. See it? One right there. Back here, we're looking good. Real good. Right here. Might be able to get it with this guy. Because it is very shallow. I don't want to put too much leverage on it with the shorter tools like that. I just want to put some light pressure on it. See if I'm there. I am right about there. You won't be able to see it move in the camera, I'm sure. But when we run the longboard over it again, then you'll be able to not see a dent. So better? Better? I can see 3 little marks, or about 5 little marks that I've made that are just about level with the rest of the tank. Got a little bit around it. Go back in there with some gentle prying. Keep your paper clean. Where are you? Hello? Anybody home? I'm going to hang in with you a little longer today. Because I want to show you how straight this is, and how nice it'll be, and show you what some of the final steps are to getting it so where you know it's really going to be straight. Okay? You know what one of my favorite one of my favorite tools is a ruler. This is pretty smooth. I don't think I'm going to go, well, do it right, do it once. Even pressure across the whole ruler. Put your hands like this. Medium to light pressure, slow circular motions. Where I work the dents out, it's fine. Down here, I've got a little something. I didn't even know this was here when I got started. It'll happen. It happens quite often. You discover other little low spots along the way. But where we've been working along this ridge here, we're looking pretty good. Or we get a little bit past your work too. Dennis over here. Don't be afraid to go 2 or 3 inches past it. You just don't want to sand down where your damage is, create a low spot. You want to have it gradual. Take down your metal, your material a little bit past where your original damaged area was. $80, $180. Hit it with a $240. Wouldn't mind if I took a sip of water while I was here, would you? Being my tongue's hanging out for sanding for 55 minutes. Thank you. Moto Joe, Frank Naby, Mark Northrop, Don Sabalski, Brian Webley, and Wendell Simmons, 2 M's. Thanks for joining me today. All right. $240. $220. $400. Now I've got plenty of other things to contend with on the top of this tank here. There's a lot of stuff. So I see a little bit of a low spot right here. I'm going to have to come back in to do all this anyway. I'll get to that, I'm sure. But you remember that thing was pretty wobbly, had the pock marks in it. And you saw as I was going over it 2 or 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, whatever it was. Things keep creeping up, little low spots and nicks and pinholes, stuff like that. They start to rear their heads. And you just keep chasing them. That's all you can do. You keep chasing them till you chase them all down. It's a game of patience, guys. It's a game of patience. Yeah, I'm just going to hit this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean it up for a second. And now okay. I mean, yeah, I got a little something going on. Oh, now I can't even see it. But it's toward the top. That's why. It's toward the top up here. But where we were working for the majority of the time, on that. Oh, there you can see it right there, but it's a little more toward the top. I don't think that was one of the original dents we were working on. And if it is, well, then maybe I got to go back to it a little bit. But right now, looks a whole lot better than what it did at 9 o'clock. Okay. So now today you learned about drilling a hole in the back, like over here. What kind of tool you need to use to get in there depends on the angle. Sometimes you could use a long one, you have a lot of leverage. Sometimes you can't use a long one, but you have the accuracy, but you have to work it a little harder or you have to heat it up. I also taught you a little something about how to straighten out the neck of a gas cap. The gas cap area, the neck, this guy. Severe damage throughout the rest of that tank. I don't know what I'll do with this, but I showed you how to get that out. And hopefully you're gaining a little knowledge on something every day. That's why I enjoy coming here, not only to get the work done, and it's very motivational to have the camera on and me talking, and while I'm working, I really enjoy doing that. But it's nice to be able to share some of the trade secrets and help you guys out there who maybe can't afford to have me fix a tank for you, and that's okay. I've got plenty of work. God has been good to me with that. But maybe you want to take a shot at it at home. Some bent bolts and a drill and a vice grip and some sandpaper. You never know. You'll feel really good when you do it, believe me. That wraps it up for today's episode 26 already. You guys made me work 26 days in a row. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Next time, try this at 12, and there's a whole lot of other stuff happening every day at Vintage Motocross Q&A. We'll see you next time.